We have a client who has a business, but within his business, he's running a number of projects. Eventually, he will finish some of these projects while others will become independent entities. We also have another client who has received a huge sum of money in the form of a grant from a donor, and he needs to hand in periodic reports to the donor showing how he is spending this money. These two clients have the same problem. They both cannot be able to generate any sort of report to show how either of the projects are doing or how the grant money is being spent. Both of them spend hours on end trying to figure out which details in their books only belongs to the projects or grants and which details belongs to the rest of the company. If you're in the same situation as one of these clients, then this video is for you. The new module on Uhasibu called Project-Based Accounting helps you to manage all your incomes and expenses at the project level. Simply put, you can now be able to register any money you gain or spend within a project or grant and then generate a report that only shows the transactions within that project or grant. Apart from just showing you how to set up your projects or grants on Uhasibu, this tutorial will also explain to you why it is important to register your incomes and expenses at the project level. So let's get started. First step is to set up your projects. To begin with, you want to set up your projects or grants so that you can be able to manage each and every one of them separately. To do this, click the Settings tab, and on your left hand side, click the Projects link. This should then take you to the Projects page where you can start creating your different projects. Click the New Project button and proceed to give your project a name. This is a very simple procedure, and it is all you need to do to be able to set up all your projects or grants on Uhasibu. Whenever you do this, a new project is added to your account, and when you are registering an expense or income, you can be able to select one of these projects. Same as when you're generating a report. You can be able to select one of the projects that you have and view only the details that fall within that particular project. Next thing we are going to try and do is to register an expense under one of the projects that we have just created. To do this, proceed to the Bookkeeping tab and then click the New Posting button. The only way we can be able to generate accurate project or grant reports is to remember to indicate that certain company expenses in actual sense only belong to a project or the money spent came from a specific grant. Using an expense receipt, fill out a cash expense transaction like I just have, or like you would any other cash expense. But when you get down here to the project area, click this drop down and select which project this expense belongs to. When you are done with this transaction and you have committed it to your books, the expense will be shown in your books as belonging to the project you selected. Also, when you generate this project report, this transaction will in general affect the overall outcome of that particular report. If you remember to do this for all expenses incurred in a project or grant, then you will never have to worry about generating the correct financial report when the time comes. As for money gained within a project or grant, it is also very important to remember to indicate that this is money you got within the scope of that particular project. Money gained compared to money spent is what will eventually give you the true financial picture of your project or grant. To register incomes in a project, click Sales and proceed to generate an invoice like you would any other invoice. But just before confirming and creating this invoice, you now have the option to select which project this sale belongs to. Click on this drop down and select one of the projects. When you are done, This income from this invoice will be indicated in your books as belonging to the project or grant you selected. More importantly, when eventually you generate this project's report, it will show that you are making some money and how much of it you are actually making within this particular project. A lot of times when you're working with projects or grants, we have people who are employed to work within that project or grant. It is often a challenge to draw the cost of these employees as only belonging to a specific project or grant. With project-based accounting, you can now very easily do that. To do this, click Payroll and then proceed to click Employee List, and as you normally would, register a new employee. However, at the bottom of the page, you now have the option to indicate which project or grant your employee belongs to. Click this drop-down and select the project that you want. At the end of the month, when you create payroll, all the costs of this employee will be shown as belonging to this specific project's report. So far, your report can show you all your expenses, incomes, and now it can also show you how much money you're spending on the employees you've employed to work on that particular project. Finally, the whole point of doing all this is so that we can be able to get a report showing details of a specific project or grant. Ideally, this is the report that our two clients at the beginning will need to do periodic project reporting to better manage their projects or to give their grant givers. To generate this report, click Reports and then select Profit and Loss. It's the same procedure to generate this report as you would any other report. However, since the one we want is a project-based report, click on this drop-down and select the particular project you want. The report generated only shows expenses and incomes and employee costs belonging to this specific project. Besides the obvious use of being accountable to grant givers using this report can also be used by managers to do project-based planning, financial management, and so on. There you have it, project-based accounting using Uhasibu. You already have your projects or grants existing, but now you need to improve operations and ensure cost efficiency within these projects using the project-based reporting with Uhasibu. Please visit the support page of the Uhasibu website or our YouTube channel for other videos explaining other parts of the system.